It's very unfortunate that Speaker Pelosi has chosen to waste this entire Congress pushing a far-left socialist agenda. And today's no different. This is Pelosi's My Way or the Highway bill, which should have been a surface transportation bill where all sides work together. She continues to go it alone and literally say it's her way or the highway. Instead of helping our communities rebuild their infrastructure, she's focused on trying to push the radical Green New Deal, this agenda item from the socialist left that would much rather focus on making airplanes have to put solar panels on their wings than allow the airline industry to come back, for example. We should be focused on building roads and bridges, not on passing an agenda that would raise energy prices for all hardworking families across this country. Something else that was just perplexing yesterday that Speaker Pelosi brought to the floor was a bill on government price controls. Now think about this. We are in the middle of battling a global pandemic. We're trying to safely open up our economy again, getting people back to work again, safely going back to doing the things they did before, like getting their exams, their immunizations, their colonoscopies and mammograms. And we're trying to find a cure for COVID-19. We're trying to find a vaccine for COVID-19, and everybody's working at warp speed. President Trump set up operations. We would be helping support that initiative, but that's not what Speaker Pelosi did yesterday. She brought a bill that, according to the Council of Economic Advisors, would actually reduce by 100 the number of new life-saving drugs that came to the market, getting rid of up to 100 life-saving drugs. Just imagine, as we're trying to find a cure for COVID-19, Speaker Pelosi brought a bill to the floor yesterday that would make it harder to find a cure for COVID-19. Every estimate that's come out has said it would be harder to bring new drugs like a COVID-19 vaccine to the market, and yet that's what she wasted the House's floor time on. What world are they living in, and what crises are they trying to address when they're going to make it harder, not easier, but harder to find a cure for COVID-19, passing a partisan piece of legislation like that? Once again, Speaker Pelosi's way or the highway, not wanting to work with Republicans to solve problems, actually making it harder to do things like find a cure and a vaccine for COVID-19. It's just mind-boggling that this is what her agenda is, but it should be eye-opening to everybody that that's her approach. Clearly, it's the Joe Biden approach to push a radical socialist agenda. And if you want to know just what's at stake, you can look at the incredibly disappointing decision by the United States Supreme Court yesterday on the Louisiana law that was set up to improve safety standards for women. You look at the bill that the court struck down yesterday. It was a bill that moved through the Louisiana legislature with a very bipartisan coalition. The lead author was a Democrat. The governor who signed the bill was a Democrat, and the court struck it down not because women brought forward a case saying they're having a harder time getting access to health care. No, it was actually an abortion provider who brought the case because he didn't want to follow higher safety standards for women. And I'm so disappointed that Justice Roberts flip-flopped on this case. Just 4 years ago, he actually upheld a similar law. But yesterday, he chose to not uphold his oath to the Constitution, because as a Supreme Court justice, your oath is to uphold the Constitution and follow it as it's written, not to move around with the winds of change. And yet that's what he did. He upheld the prior failed rulings of the Supreme Court instead of upholding the Constitution in his ruling in a 5-4 decision that was a defeat for women's health standards. It's incredibly disappointing, but it shows what's at stake this November. And with that now, I want to introduce our leader, Kevin McCarthy.